Gentlemen, welcome back to the Prime Dude Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Edwards. Really just hanging out with you. I don't even know if host applies. I've got the shoe apron on. Going to do some shoe care on the FitzPatrick Footwear, Justin Fitzpatrick shoe line. Had a chance to show you these, they're the Sangria color Wenatchee semi-brogues. That's a mouthful. Well, I'll tell you they were worth it. We'll get into it. I wore them all week, and we'll do some shoe care on those. We're going to open up with my update on the Tailor Store, talking about their dress shirts and what I learned in about a week and a half correspondence. Going to go over some other shoes. This is a Tailor Store shirt, and you'll notice the collar looks perfect. I will cut in. I was wearing this same shirt a few minutes ago and started the podcast and realized I hadn't added the solution I figured out this week that will help solve this flyaway collar problem I talked about in the last episode. Let's talk about the correspondence with the Tailor Store. They're based in Sweden. I'm here in the U.S., so there's a little lag, but I mean, they get back within a day. To my inquiry, I sent pictures of the flyaway collars, the same pictures I posted last week. Talked about some problems I had with ironing them down, which was their initial recommendation when I mentioned the problem a few months ago, but they're more severe. The problems are more severe this time because I tried the stiff, what they call business collar for the collars. This is one of them. So it is a stiff collar, and the inference is that they are more likely to stay in place where they're supposed to be, where they are now. Trust me, I'll get to why they're in this shape now. But I get those shirts. The flyaway issue was impossible to remedy. So the first solution, I told you last week, I took it to a professional dry cleaner to just have it pressed. And fortunately, I had someone there that has seen this before, not from the Tailor Store, but she recommended, instead of just pressing it, to actually dry clean the shirts. I don't like dry cleaning dress shirts. That's mostly because I'm told not to, but I used to do it all the time, and I never had an issue with the shirts. But I no longer do that. I just wash and hang. But for this problem, what I call a defect, I had them dry clean it because she told me there's a special pressing machine when they dry clean, so they did it. This is the product. I had this one dry cleaned, got it back, and it seemed like the collar was fixed, to the point where I wore the shirt to start filming this podcast and realized when I looked at myself that it was flying away again. It was actually out into the strap here of my shoe apron. And I was like, what the heck? So I had to start over, but I had forgotten. I grabbed and I'd ordered this on Amazon. I'll link it below. It seems to work. It's called Hold It Down. Now this is just a sticky. You stick it in place. I did it on the shirt just behind the buttonhole and the button, and it's holding it in place. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of resistance with this stiff collar from the Tailor Store. I have tried those metal collar stays with the magnet. They talk about fixing flyaway collar. Those work, except those little magnet discs, when they fall off, if you're fortunate, you'll find them in your tucked shirt, but it is a little bit of a hassle. It's a very strong magnet, but I'm telling you, I'll link this below. I got them on Amazon. The Hold It Down, they look like these little discs here. Okay, and you just make sure when you take one layer off, you do not touch that exposed sticky section, and you just pop it on there, peel the other layer away, and then press this down. I held it for like 5 seconds. So far, they're holding, and the reviews average like 4.5, 4.6 stars on Amazon. So really cool so far. Unfortunately, that's what I needed to fix the problem. So if you go with the Tailor Store, do not do the stiff, heavy stiffness collar option. Do the medium like I always did, and then you're still probably going to want to use these. It's still a slight flyaway, and don't try to press it down yourself. If I mentioned it last week, unless I might have forgotten, by doing that, I actually ruined one of the collars. By really pressing and holding the steam down, it'll wrinkle and dimple away over time, away from the collar. It doesn't look right. It's very noticeable. And like I said last week, looking at it now, the collar is a draw point. People meet you. If there's something distracting going on here, it's distracting. You don't want that. So unfortunately, the Tailor Store's response, they offered me a free shirt, one, even though this is a problem with multiple. They did not acknowledge this as an issue. They didn't acknowledge the problem of offering something as a formal business collar that doesn't remotely stay in place, even after a lot of treatment, even after taking it to a professional dry cleaner. I've taken some others that I had in the medium stiff collar to the dry cleaner. I'll throw a quick update next week's podcast. I think that's going to help. But for really, I don't know if I'm ever have to do that again with the hold it down, right? Hold it down, holding it down. They're doing it so far. So hopefully one of these doesn't pop away. I'm not starting this over like last time, but it was obnoxious. And I'd actually thought maybe the problem was solved. It wasn't. So the Tailor Store is going to get a full review from me. It's going to be positive mostly. I've already written the article for my website. I'll link it again down below. There are a lot of positives. Its price point's great. The shirts fit fantastic everywhere else. I love it. I love their AI, but I would stick with the medium collar. And if you don't mind, you're probably going to have to get the hold it down stickies. Fully recommend those already. Let's see. Maybe I should wait a week and wear them this week. But they also offer button down collars, hidden button down collars. That's my recommendation in the article. I don't mind telling you guys this, but I'm going to do a separate show on it and get into the details of ordering. I have other recommendations, but overall, I think the Tailor Store is a good company. I do think they have a problem. No other collar I own, no other dress shirt collar I own has this issue. So we'll move on from it, but that's the final update from now for the Tailor Store. I'll give you little tidbits maybe in the next podcast when I can. Okay, so last week we talked about this fantastic derby, the Luke Derby from Blackbird Shoes. I had a chance to wear it, and I have to say this is one of the most impressive dress shoes I have had on my feet. For one, I have hammer toes. I have a lot of angles. My feet are just kind of sharp angled, so it's always a little uncomfortable for me wearing new shoes. This is a derby with a little bit wider last, not a narrow to an almond shape last, so that helps me. But this was comfortable immediately. I ended up having to wear this for almost 20 hours on a delayed flight day, which is not what you want with a new shoe, but this bad boy held up. Now, I was going to do shoe care on this one. I had started when I started the podcast with my flyaway collar. I ended up finishing these, and we'll switch to the Justin Fitzpatrick shoes, the Sangria. But I wanted to update you on this. I'm going to be doing a full review on the YouTube channel here of this Luke Derby Blackbird dress shoe with their rubber sole, which is incredible. I mean, it doesn't even look like anybody's worn it. I'm telling you guys, you may not believe me now. I wore this quite a bit for 2 days. They're already breaking in nicely. Tons of compliments. They're dressy. I wore these with chinos, so in slacks one day. So, a difference there. I wore these with I think they're called start with a P, but they're the linen wool blend dress slacks from Proper Cloth. They're fantastic, and they're really dressy for a linen blend pant. They look great. I had navy with these. Fantastic black shoe. I love the brown accent in the sole that you see here. I think that just looks fantastic. It's a great brown that matches with that. So this is a great shoe, guys. I got it for $215 US, and it's a shoe I could have if I want for the rest of my life. It's Goodyear welted, as Blackbird specializes in that. They also have Blake stitched. I talked about that last week. Full review coming of that shoe, and I have a pair of their Chukka boots on the way. I can't wait. Really incredible company for the price point. What they're doing with their hand welt shoes is a game changer. So good for them. Just like our friends at Bridlin, really pushing the boundaries and giving us value at a lower price point and the same value you get for something that's $200 or $300 more. So bravo. So moving on from Blackbird shoes, we'll get into starting the shoe care with the J. Fitzpatrick. This is that Sangria calf, same shoe I showed you last week. I wore it quite a bit. Gave this a day and a half of wear. It was a long trip. Very comfortable for a high quality leather dress shoe with a nice shapely almond last. This was a shoe, by the way, I got this with the initial discount being a new customer. This was already marked down under $400 US, and I think I got another 15% off. I got this beautiful shoe, which is now one of my favorites. First, I love, just like Ash from the Chaps Guide, I love Burgundy's Oxblood. This is in that family. The Sangria has a dark patina to it, which really formalizes it in a semi-brogue, as you can see here. Full review of this coming. I'll have it on the shoe table. We'll go over all the details. But really excited about my first pair of J. Fitzpatrick shoes, so I will tag his channel, The Shoe Snob. If you don't subscribe to that, I highly recommend it. He's really great about giving just updates on what's happening in the shoe industry. I always forget to do the brush first, right? Got the shoe cream from Saphir, or the Renovator on my finger. Let's not make a mess. But really great about updating on what's going on in his industry that he's been in. It sounds like, just listening to people talk about him since he was, I think before he was 18 almost, but really young. So he's very experienced for someone that's, obviously younger than I am. I don't know if he's 40 yet, but he's got a ton of knowledge. Good for him total expert on what's going on in the industry. He makes a great shoe. His company is doing a great job. They've got some really, I don't say exotic, but fun designs. They have a marble patina line coming out that you can pre-order. Some of them ready, but most are a pre-order. They got some beautiful loafers on there. I'm looking at it's like a gold marble calf, really, really unique. And then the classics like this semi-brogue, in dark browns and blacks. Great website. You can go to jfitzpatrickshoes.com, I think it is. You can find it really easily. And he's also, I'll feature one pair I just got on he's got a shoe store. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but you can find it through the Shoe Snob website. He sells his shoes. Obviously, it's at J. Fitzpatrick, but he has an alternate store for discounted on other brands. So he's partnered with brands like Bridlin. So I got a new pair of Bridlins for like $200 or maybe less. A beautiful brown wingtip. I'll show you those next week. Really excited about those. So you can get a really nice offer. It's really a great way to shop for shoes. If you've got a little bit of time, go to Herring Shoes, go to J. Fitzpatrick, the Noble Shoe, these other websites. They all have markdowns and discounts. I took advantage of a Carlos Santos pair. We'll talk about that. It's in the Guimares patina. I think that's been discontinued or is on its way out. It's a beautiful, like a brown mix, almost has some tan patina to it. And so I can't find a belt from that leather on the Carlos Santos website. But needless to say, find the deals. You can find them at J. Fitzpatrick. Great website, J. Fitzpatrick Shoes. And so this Sangria calf was a hit. And it went with my I have a couple of burgundy patina belts. Look great. I did wear it with navy. So the same navy slacks I wore with the Blackbirds, I rotated for these. Fantastic look. Just look super nice. And of course, I think burgundy goes with any medium to dark color, gray or blue. I mean, that's just an easy start. And of course, it goes from there. But this just came out so nice. I had shined it up. It's got their Streetwalker sole. So the J. Fitzpatrick's version of the rubber sole, which is precisely what I was looking for because it was going to be potentially wet. And so I have invested in a number of shoes like that Blackbird I showed you with rubber soles so that I don't have to deal with extra shoe care and leather soles that do not take to water well. So just applied the Saphir as I always do and brushed that off. And now we'll go to the Saphir. I think they call this Bordeaux. Yeah, the Bordeaux, also burgundy shoe cream polish. And so they were comfortable, the J. Fitzpatrick shoes. These are the Wenatchee. Highly recommend them. They're still available on the website under $400. That is a fantastic deal. Based on wearing them, my full review is going to be extremely positive. Now, as we shift and take a break from shoes, I got one more pair to talk about from Beckett Simonon. I want to talk about sort of shoes and other things that can happen in your professional environment involving your clothes, which are your investment, regardless of what you pay. They should be an investment, something you hope is timeless, a term we're going to talk about in a second. It's a little overused, but jump to the wax a little early. So timeless pieces, however you want to define that, you care about them. Whether it's a jacket, a pair of shoes, a shirt, you want other people to respect them. And most of the time that's what I see. But accidents happen. And I noticed something or witnessed something a few weeks ago that I've been meaning to talk to you about at a restaurant. It wasn't anyone I worked with because it is a career limiting thing. And that's what I meant by career limiting, meaning your reaction to somebody maybe stepping on your shoes, which is what I saw happen, can really cause a problem for you. And I know we're all a bit neurotic about this stuff. I'm the only person in my large company that spends this amount of time on shoe care, shoe polishing, dress shirts, really being thoughtful about what I'm wearing, what I'm mixing and matching, and the quality of my tailored garments. I mean, there's not many people. I found a few, what I would say, kindred spirits within the company. And of course, we're like fast friends. But somebody steps on my shoes, it's more about the pain initially. I had some woman on a flight very aggressively deplaning when there was nowhere to go. It's one of my pet peeves. I travel a ton. I'm on 3 or 4 flights a week. And she decided she needed to rush, and she stepped into my row and onto my shoes at the beginning of a trip. So I just, and I do pack my shoes on my body. I wear a pair. I try to be smart about which ones I pick. And of course, after going through the excruciating pain of, let's just say, a woman who was built in a way where she exerted maximum force when she stepped on my foot. It really hurt. So I did react to that. But then I have my nice shoes that I put a lot of time into caring for really scuffed. I mean, they took a beating with no time. I'm going to a meeting, of course. It wasn't like I had the hotel. I do travel with some shoe care stuff. And I wasn't happy. And I did give her a bit of a look because she was rude about it. She didn't apologize. It happens. But, I was pretty upset once the pain subsided and I recovered feeling in my left foot, in my toes. Thank you, ma'am. I was pretty upset about the shoe, and I thought about it. It's been a while, but if someone in a work environment, whether it's a client or one of my colleagues, were to do that, they would always apologize. And my reaction matters. You cannot get visually upset about your shoes, your clothes in your professional environment. And you need to be ready to react and say, guys, because someone will apologize. And then if they know you as being the sartorial guy, the fashion guy, because I'm somebody who offers advice when people come to me, if they know you as that person, they're going to apologize and probably overdo it. You need to be ready to put them at ease and make sure this is not something you're overly known for and something that is going to be an issue the company sees, your manager, your boss sees as a potential problem. They are just shoes. Keep that in mind. They are replaceable. They are inanimate objects that have no feelings, and they should not cause a reaction that would put you in a compromising position with your job or anyone around you in your personal or professional life. So I want to talk about that, and I did, and mention to you because I've been doing this a long time. I've been a professional leader for now, it's hard, can't believe it, but it's been 20 plus years, and I've seen all kinds of reactions to spilling, all the things. If you take it gracefully, you will gain in such a way in your career, in your personal life, that will probably outpay or pay for eventually whatever garment or pair of shoes that was damaged by a person who just accidentally did so. So please keep that in mind. Do not, and be ready for that moment. Just think about it now, what you'll say, because when you respond from grace, it shows class. And what is class? Well, it's something not many people know about. It's not just how you dress and being a gentleman in the easy ways. When things are easy, being classy and being a gentleman is truly tested when things are not easy, when things are difficult. I see a lot of people on YouTube who, and I use the word prance around, talk about fashion, talk about how you should be, and it's starting to really bother me. And you're going to see that come out in the show, because the show is going to be authentically me and authentic people. And I want to see them tested. I'm curious to see off camera how people treat each other when their fashion, when their clothes, their precious garments, which they are to me. But again, don't sacrifice your dignity, your character, and your brand, your own brand, which you should invest in. It should go way beyond how you dress. If you're obsessed with clothes and obsessed with shoes in your private life, that's okay. I kind of am. I mean, the shoes you see over my shoulder are just a portion of what I own. And there's like 14 pairs in that rack, and I have more. I'll just say that. I'm a collector. I love them. I do cherish them more than I cherish a vehicle or any other item I own, but not my children, not my friends, not the people on my team that I lead, or my leaders. They can do whatever they want accidentally, and I will say nothing. And I hope you feel the same. Let me know. So brushed off with the shoe cream polish from Saphir, and that's one of the tests of a great shoe. You can see they're already taking on a glisten, a shine, just from shoe cream polish. So really high quality leather. I can say the same occurred with the Blackbird shoes. So we're in a nice league here, in the under $400, even under $300 range, and you're getting a shoe that's just performs well. Again, they were both really comfortable. They're breaking in quite easily. We'll move on to the wax in a second. Looking at my notes here. Of course, we'll jump to the concept of being overdressed. I want to talk about this too. I love Oki. I love a number of shows that are just always classy. Oki's always classy. Pete on that show, Pete Barlow, always classy. Kirby Ellison, Ash. I don't know Ash's last name. Ash from the Chaps Guide. What they'll probably also agree, most of them, maybe Oki pushes this a little bit. He might have said once, you can't be overdressed. I'll just disagree. And I think he kind of pulled that back. It's something to think about because most of the time we're dealing with situations where people are underdressed, right? And that drives me nuts. Business casual is not sneakers. Dress sneakers, the hybrids, at least you're making an attempt. I'm not a huge fan anymore, but with chinos or jeans, go for it. With a suit, that's an abomination. Please don't do that. Anything with sneaker soles. But moving on to being too casual, there is an overkill. I think I've talked to people about this. Business casual is not a formal suit, meaning your worsted wools, your high-end super 120s and above fabrics in, dark colored knits with a silk tie and a pocket square. In a professional environment, that can backfire on you. Personal, I don't know. I don't think it matters. Enjoy, as long as you feel good. Your style is your style. I just, again, I want to protect some of you. There's a young audience out there that I'm so excited about that is going away from what I saw when I was younger. In the 80s and 90s, everybody was about the future, back to the future. Alan Edmonds has this old ad out, the shoes of the future. It really was everything for those of you who weren't alive. It was all about futurism and futuristic. The movies, we were all supposed to be on gliding, flying cars 15 years ago. It was fantastic. Now my wife's noticed this about me over the past few years. I'm regressing into the traditional, into the classic, even though I'm a big technology fan. We're talking on YouTube. AI is a part of my work life, editing things. It's amazing what technology can do, but it's just a support structure. That's all it's for me. Everything I can control, I'm regressing when it comes to clothes, when it comes to items I can get my hands on and buy and invest in. We all want classic. And so with that, I think being minimalist and being smart and not overdoing is something to think about in your professional dressing, in your professional tailoring, in a formal event in business where suits are the requirement or are recommended, which you should just then treat that as a requirement. If something's recommended, that's the minimum for you. Get that through your head now. That is a career uplifting move. But if you show up to business casual, where unfortunately that can be defined as denim and sneakers or nicer sneakers. I've even seen what are referred to as trainers pass off. Meeting in front of clients with a really basic blazer, I think that's unacceptable. And so with a client, you should pull people. Dress as nice as you want if you're in a formal client meeting. But in an office, be careful. A double-breasted suit, in a fine wool with a tie, a pocket square, it could look like you're trying to show people up. I don't think anybody watching the show would do that. I think it's because you'd feel better, and I want to encourage that. I just think there needs to be a balancing voice from someone like me who's actually in it still. There are channels with a few million followers, hundreds of thousands of followers, who haven't set foot in an office in years and years. They know that society and young men are casualizing, but they're not seeing what is, how that's not even a priority for some companies, especially in the Silicon Valley tech world. You could look like you're mocking things if you overdo it. So if you want to dress up your business casual and look smart and be the person that always comes sharp and ready, blazers you can get a blazer, a navy blue, hopsack blazer, dark gray, whatever. That'll go with just about anything. Mid gray probably better. And then just update your shirts. Get chinos that are nice. Ash, you talk about the chaps guy again. He didn't wear denim anymore, and I'm starting to get that way. I own 2 pairs of jeans, and I'll probably wear each, and they're nice. I take care of them. Probably wear each of them 3 times, total of 6 times this year. I don't think denim is particularly comfortable. Even when they break in, I just find a lot of the chino fabric options out there are better, and they're just more comfortable to sit in. But wool slacks are always going to be good with business casual. Wear your loafers, wear your dress shoes. Just be careful about how formal you take it, because you can overdress and create a distraction and potentially another sort of career limiting awkward moment if you do that in the workplace. So moving on, Beckett Simonon. These are my first split toe derbies. I've also got my first pair of CNES from Singapore, CNES shoemakers, split derbies, actually apron derbies coming. But these are split toe, right? You can see it there. I'm going to do a full review on these. They definitely deserve it. Went with the rubber sole. This is a grain leather you can see, or pebbled leather, the same vachetta leather from Argentina that they use. This is a shoe I got for about $170 because I bought two. They always have that special. It's incredible quality. I went crazy when I opened the box. It's durable. It's their Oxblood color, right? They also have a burgundy that kind of caught me off guard. This is what they call Oxblood. By the way, if you buy their belts, they're oversized. So I'm around a 33, 34 inch waist, so I buy 36 inch belts. Sorry for those of you metric system, you'll have to convert for me. I don't want to mess that up. Beckett Simonon, I'm a 34. So I actually have a belt. I'll probably get them to exchange a 36. It's just too big. So their belts are oversized. Want to give you that tidbit. And then this split toe derby with the apron stitching. I can't wait to wear it. Definitely a business casual shoe. We're just talking about this. This is a great shoe for the office. It's going to go with a lot of your neutral colors, a lot of fun because you got the grain leather, which adds a less formal feel to it. Also gives it a rugged feel. Anytime you have, I keep saying that pebbling, right? Pebble, deerskin, sometimes leather, however they acquire it, that is a more durable feel. You really can't scratch. I would never run my nails along any other pair of new shoes. I'm even getting nervous. They won't scratch. That's the beautiful of a Pebble grain leather shoe and the beautiful part of that. So keep that in mind. And more shoe reviews coming. Again, I'm going to finish this real quick, but with the wax polish from Saphir. This again, the semi-brogue from J. FitzPatrick Shoes, the Wenatchee. It is coming probably my next shoe review. The Blackbird shoe review is going to come out soon. I would say a week and a half. I've got a briefcase. A company actually asked me to review, so I do get a promo code of that. It's Maverick and Company. If you want to look them up, so far the briefcase I've switched to it. I actually was timing well. I needed a new one. Maverick and Company has done a really nice job at a great price point in that like $300 to $600 range, depending on what bag you get. I got the bag that has a nice narrow profile in black. They let me pick it out. Been really fun to work with them. So we're gonna do a review on that as well. And then I have what might be a controversial show coming out. I hope it is. I hope it gets some reaction because I do mean what I say when I say there are 5 solid reasons made to measure is better than bespoke. And without giving you too many tidbits, I start off with it being a lower cost. That makes it better based on the quality experience I've had with made to measure. Now in full transparency, I've never purchased a bespoke suit. I could, but it hasn't been worth the investment for me in the return I would receive. I fit jackets well. I do really well off the rack. I never have to alter anything other than the sleeve length typically in a 42 regular. And so made to measure is just a nice custom, again, to use that term, fit, and they measure, they make the suit, they touch it up a bit, and you make the adjustments, and then you have your fit locked in as long as you don't fluctuate in weight. That's always been more than good enough for me, and I just don't feel like spending more than $2,500 on a suit makes sense because I'm traveling too. Remember, my suits get packed, my suits get worn on planes. That includes Southwest Airlines, the commuter type flights that every country has, a little more hustle and bustle, we'll say. During the summer, I'm with families. I've had cranberry juice spilled on me multiple times in my career. So, no matter how I plan it, if I went to the Huntsman, somebody I referenced in the show before, I have a friend who's very much into bespoke clothing to the point that's all he wears. He wants to take me to the Huntsman. From what I understand, I'm going to be starting at like $9,000 or $10,000 for a suit. I mean, I can't pull the trigger there. And I don't know. I know it would be my best suit. I'm certain it would be. But time-wise, I would have to go to New York for 3 more fittings after the one trip. I'm never there for business. That's money. Even though I have points, still it's points I could spend on a family vacation for air travel, hotel, all those things. And so the whole suit's going to end up costing me closer to $12,000 or $13,000. And what's it going to be? A navy blue suit? I mean, what fabrics, what cloth am I going to be able to tap into? Which is why bespoke is fantastic. They get their own, they have their own exclusive fabrics and cloth from the mills, but I'm just not going to do it anytime soon. And so I did a show. I talk about 5 things why, and it might be better for you, but it's better for me so far, made to measure over bespoke. So that show is, I already got the blog out, the article. So I wrote that. I'll link it. Actually, I don't. It's almost done. So that's coming. I'll have that out soon, and it'll be linked to the next podcast. But the show is coming. Wait a minute. I got it mixed up. The show's already done. So we're going to close with this. The show I'll link below. And I just released that. So it was like 2 days ago. So I'll link the show. The article's coming as well if you just want to read through it. But it's 5 reasons why made to measure is better than bespoke and also smarter. Tell me what you think. I'm real curious. Leave a comment under the show. Bash me. I'm not saying bespoke isn't better. I'm just giving you 5 reasons why made to measure is better. So I'm going to finish. Got a little distracted because I love talking to you guys so much. Going to finish this the toe cap portion with the Saphir Bordeaux or Burgundy. It's one of those two. I can't remember. Yeah, it's Burgundy. Burgundy wax polish. And then I'll get to the mirror shine next. But that's all I've got today. I really just appreciate you guys tuning in. Lots of support so far for the podcast. I'm at the 30-minute mark, which is where I like to keep it. You know, when you get a chance, I never ask in the beginning. I don't know if I'm ever going to remember to ask you to like and subscribe, put the show on alerts, give me feedback. I always want it. I've really received some great information from my subscribers, my friends so far, and some just great compliments. Got some criticisms too, corrections, really appreciate it, like the movie one I got last week I mentioned the wrong director. It was supposed to, I meant to mention John Woo. It's weird, but I said Antoine Fuqua for Mission Impossible. Did see the second to last Mission Impossible 7. I was waiting now that the new one's out. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think, because it's not, the recent one is out, but this second to like the 7th one, it's like Dead, I can't remember now, Fallout, Reckoning, whatever it is, it's not the last one. I thought the beginning was really cheesy. The acting's pretty terrible in the first half, and like they're finishing all their lines in the CIA meeting, and like they kind of jumped the shark with how they over-explain things. Like they really have gone through like a 5th grade viewing level, and it's a bit condescending. The action's incredible. I'm a Tom Cruise fan. Simon Pegg's incredible. I wish he did more comedies, but I think it's a good movie. I'm curious. Let me know what you think of the last one, the one that's out now, and if it's worth going to see in the theaters. My son's home from college. We're movie buffs, or should I just wait till that one's available on Paramount? Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Again, subscribe if you want, like if you want, share it with your friends, drop comments. Always a pleasure to have you here. And as always, stay prime.